Hi everyone, so today I'm here with my great friend Chloe Reuter. Now, she is the co-founder of the Guster Collective, and that is a digital branding and marketing company based between Shanghai and London. So why don't we start with, how did you start out and what's your journey been so far?
I started the business back in 2010. Which has been an incredible journey, like your own journey. I love meeting women who are crazy enough to start out businesses. I always joke that if I had known how difficult it would have been, I would never have done it. But I'm very
Thank
proud.
God we didn't know. I mean, seriously.
I think a little bit of naivety is the key to success there. I think if I were doing it again, I'd probably love to have some much deeper knowledge when it comes to finance. I think that's
as in we learned it the hard way.
Yes.
on the go, sort of organically.
Absolutely, trying to figure out P&Ls and all of that, and it's never been a natural place for me.
No, me neither. And we make mistakes along the way, and we carry on making mistakes.
For sure. And I think the secret to entrepreneurship really is how quickly can you recover from a mistake and a downfall, because they happen all the time, and you've just got to keep getting up and keep going and keep going. And I think that's something that's really, really tough, and it all comes down to grit. And I'm not sure how one teaches grit, but I think that whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working in a business, whatever you're doing, you need grit, because life is tough. There's always things happening that you don't expect, and you need to be able to have the resilience within you to keep going.
Okay, so you grew up though going to school in Hong Kong, and then you went to university in Beijing.
I've had this love affair with China since I was about 15, when, as you said, we moved to Hong Kong with my family. I started going to school in Hong Kong. Fell in love with studying Chinese, and so I went off to university between Beijing and Durham. Actually, in hindsight, studying Chinese at that time was fantastic, because it meant that my future then became very intertwined with China. And it's been a privilege, because I think that being a woman in China and being an entrepreneur, the sky's the limit. I always say the future is happening in Shanghai today.
What was one of your biggest challenges? Would you say in your career and in that sort of trajectory, maybe in some of the earlier years, was there anything specifically that stood out?
In my line of business, we don't have products like Misoma, sadly, because I love them. But
it's all right, you get to wear them and promote them.
I'm showing them off today. But our business is based on people. And so I think that the hardest part of our business is identifying and recruiting that talent that is so important to us. And as the business evolves, and it has to evolve or it dies, we need to bring in different types of talent. And I think that that's always tricky.
I know that you're very much a leader, that you like to make sure that you lead with kindness. And that's very important to you and your company. How do you think that's helped you?
I think for me, leadership with kindness is fundamental to the business. And when I first set up the business, part of my motivation for building my own business was I wanted to be my own boss. I'd worked for a number of different companies where I had bosses who I felt didn't listen and certainly didn't say please and thank you.
And we've been there.
As basic as it sounds, it used to drive me crazy. And I thought there has to be another way of running and building a business. So, with a bit of naivety, I said, I'm going to build a business which is based on kindness and highly profitable. Didn't really know how I would do that at the beginning, but it has worked. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Kindness and leadership. It looks like, embodying the values from a senior leadership level and making sure that all of our directors and managers and everyone within the organization understands what we stand for. I won't put up with bad behavior. I really won't. I think life is too short. I think that, if we could just all treat other people how we would want to be treated, and I think we can make differences every day with how we treat and talk to other people. We have a lot of young people in our office in Shanghai. We have about 140 people, and I worry about them. I, for example, the pandemic. They're
like your 140 babies.
Are they okay? Everyone's dealing with stuff, right? And no one, we don't really know, because we might meet ourselves in the workplace. But I think let's always remember that, someone's probably maybe dealing with something that we know nothing about, and it's affecting them. And it's for sure, not everyone can put really important things in boxes and say, well, I'll deal with it at 6 p.m. when I leave work.
What are the traits that you look at in sort of people?
I think for me it's quite simple. I think passion. Passion, curiosity, kindness. I think the rest you can learn. You know, if you have passion and grit and kindness, I think the world's your oyster. I love people who are pushy. I mean, I love people who are ambitious.
You don't get anywhere if you're not a go-getter, and I always say that. You don't ask, you don't get.
Agree. And I think that, you know, being ambitious is something to be proud of. I think that, unfortunately, you know, it's true when it comes to women who are openly ambitious, you know, often are, you know, criticized. I think it's crazy. I'm ambitious. I will scream that out. I'm very proud to be ambitious. It's hard work, but, you know, it's like strive for what you want to be doing. And I think that we need to be encouraging people to be ambitious. If you're aligned on your fundamental values, and if you can recruit people who are smarter than you,
yes,
I think that's the key.
That's actually almost the holy grail of, if you know your own limits, that's already how you will help yourself sort of excel above everyone else, because you will be leaning on all these other people that are coming in and helping make you stronger as a team, as a business, as a brand.
I'm an incredibly optimistic person, and I'm very positive, and I think if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be. You have to be able to keep going in there and getting
that resilience
things
again
thrown at you, and you need to keep going. But it is tough, and I think that, you know, for me, you need to have your support network. I've got some wonderful people in our business who, you know, I can, you know, have a laugh with, and who are incredibly supportive, and it's a village.
It is.
No one is building a business with one person. Okay, no one buys a business just with one person at the top. It's all about the teams.
Yeah. How do you balance your work and, you know, home life, you know, with kids, etc.?
My mother once told me very wisely, it's not about the quantity of time, it's about the quality of time. And she told me that when the kids were tiny, and I was, you know, as a lot of mothers and women do, putting yourself on a guilt trip, saying I'm not spending enough time with my kids because I'm working, and, you know, you can't do it all. Let's stop trying to have it all. It ain't possible. But I think what you can do is make sure that, you know, when you're home, your phone is out of the room and you've got undivided attention and you are fully present. There's no doubt about it. If I don't sleep enough, I'm not a good person. Usually my husband will say to me, go and sleep and I'll talk to you after you've had a nap. So two really main things I do. I go to bed early and I get up early. And
you're listening to your body. I do read about every great entrepreneur, and I'm obviously not one, because every great business leader, entrepreneur, whoever it is, goes to bed early and wakes up early. They're up at like 6 or 5:30.
I wake up
not
really
me.
early.
I go to bed really late and I wake up late, and I'm always late in the morning.
The other thing I do, the big secret here, is power napping. I'm very good at power napping.
I'm very good at that too.
I'll literally go down for 15 minutes, put my eye blinkers on, and 15 minutes and then I'm refreshed.
What would be that one piece of advice that you would put on a billboard, that you would shout out to say either, I wish I'd been told this, or this was the best piece of advice I've ever been given?
I think for me it's very simple. I think it's try your best and just be nice. There's so many issues in the world and so many things that are happening that are much bigger than what we're dealing with on a daily basis, and it's, you know, keeping it in perspective. And every day you can make a difference. You can just, you know, you can talk to people on the street, you can acknowledge people in a store, in a restaurant, you can just be kind, and it makes a difference. And I think that if all of us and if everyone out there could be doing more of that, I think the world would be a better place.